So I was supposed to post reels every day for the lettering style challenge, but this time I'm doing songs and the music keeps getting blocked, which kind of defeats the whole point, right? So instead, I'm bringing everything here to YouTube. You guys really have been the best. I put up the story yesterday asking you guys what you wanted me to do with the challenge, as most of my reels are getting blocked, and you all said that I should do whatever was best for me. And I thought that was so sweet, and that I should take care of my cat, which I will be doing. Don't worry, he's in really good hands and he's getting all of the attention possible. I think I'm gonna go with YouTube videos because it's going to be the same amount of work, but it's going to be way more valuable both for you and for me, because I'll be able to not worry about how many views I get, if the reels are performing or not. I will be able to share way more of my process. You'll be able to see way more of my decisions, my thought process, how I do the things that I do, how I manage my time, all that kind of stuff. And I think that will be way more valuable for you, less work for me, hopefully, and in the end, just a better outcome. I'm thinking of doing 4 YouTube videos, maybe 1 each week of the challenge. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Week 1, I had pretty much done all of the prompts before the challenge has started officially, because I'm a bit like that. I like to be prepared just in case something happened. And of course, something happened. And I had done most of the prompts, really proud of it. Started with prompt 1, Purple Rain. And for this one, I wanted to keep it rather simple. And by simple, I mean not something that's like too much out of my comfort zone. The lettering is my usual lettering. It's script, it's simple, it's just glossy, round letters with some flourishes. I mean, I'm not really like experimenting with something too crazy here, but the thing that I am experimenting with are the grapes, and I've always wanted to draw like juicy, glossy fruits, and that's kind of what I did. I also wanted to play with colors and creating an atmosphere. So I'm drawing everything from imagination, like I have references, but I'm not like copying one particular grape, if that makes sense. Like I'm inventing them, but using references to figure out where the shadows go, where the highlight goes, what the shape of the object is, and the form, the color, like all that kind of stuff. I want to emulate oil painting so much, which is very tricky with digital painting because you have so many options to redo and kind of blend things and make things super smooth. Whereas with oil painting, I feel like you have a bit less of that because you want to be very intentional with every stroke, and everything that you put on the canvas is there. With digital painting, I'd say you have more options to mess up and therefore redo it. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because having the option to redo it is so great, but then it means that you're going to do that so many times. You will spend way longer on the piece, when if you had been a bit more thoughtful, a little bit more intentional, that one stroke could have worked from the first time. And that's what I'm trying to do with this piece. And that's what I try to do with all of the other pieces. Because I have to draw a lot, I'm going to do things right. And I'm going to use this. I know it's for painting, but I figured I could use that for my iPad. Is that enough doggies on your lap?
I could do one more.
I'm sure you could do one more. Ooh. Ooh, you've got this. Oh, yeah, and you're gonna put it like that. But essentially, I'm gonna use that for my iPad. There we have it. A beautiful stand. I think I'll put it a bit lower and I can draw on this. All right, let's see if that's going to work. The iPad here. I had this really bad habit of drawing everything flat, and I was just struggling because there was always a reflection on my iPad and I was kind of leaning forward, and that's not good for your back. So I think this is going to be great because that will allow me to have a better sitting position. I can also use it for my paintings, which is great. I love it. Moving on to the prompt cherry pie, I have to be honest, I did not really like it. Not because I don't like the prompt, but it did not really fit my vision. I think that's the best way to say it. I really wanted to go for that oil painting style and have something that looks like it's there, you know. It's kind of weird, but when you're looking at a painting from real life, like a still life, for example, the painter is trying to represent what they're seeing in real life. Whereas with lettering, you're just creating something in another dimension, like in the digital realm. And it's always what I do when I draw 3D letters anyway, but I really wanted to make those 3D letters look like they are in a real environment. That's why I always have like a background, a sort of like dimension and perspective to my work. That's why I add those shadows and textures and really try and make it look like it's there. And I think with cherry pie, it's lacking a little bit of that. And the cherries, they just look like they've been added afterwards, if that makes sense, and they're just floating there with bubbles, which I did not mind because it kind of went with the actual prompt, which was bubble. I don't know, it works. I love the colors though. I think the colors are definitely so me. I love that very vibrant pink and red and contrasting with the brown and the gold. It's just very juicy, very much what I wanted. But it just did not hit that realistic still life vibe that I was going for. Then I moved on to Tainted Love. I want to have the light coming from the top. So I'm always deciding on my light source before I begin. But the last two artworks that I did, which were Purple Rain, the light was coming from the top left, and then same with Cherry Pie, top left. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to play around, but that's like my safest option. Okay, so far I have done the first prompt. With this third prompt, I think the first two, they were quite safe. With this one, I'm gonna experiment with something a little bit more illustrative. So I'm gonna have a hand, just because I think it's gonna go well with the song when they say touch me baby, tainted love. I think that kind of goes with it. So I'm going with a hand. I'm gonna have maybe like a very kind of like safe serif. I'm not experimenting too much with the lettering this time. I'm still gonna play with it, but I'm gonna keep something that I know how to do and keep it quite centered, symmetrical. I'm gonna have the light coming from the top. And for embellishments, I'm gonna add flowers because that's one of the things I really want to play with this challenge is have elements that are sensory, so that kind of smell or make you want to touch it. That's why I have the hand. So this is what I've got so far, and I'm using this book as a reference, which is so good. It's like full of stickers. So yeah, lots of work ahead. For this one, I really wanted to have a hand in it because I never draw like human things. Like I always go for letters or little animals, little fruits, but never really like human parts. And I really want to get better at that. And of course, I did not trace this hand. That was my challenge. It kind of looked like I did, but I did not, I promise. So I started with like the skeleton of the hand and I added the shapes. And obviously it's so much easier on the iPad. Like if I had to draw that on pen and paper, I would have to erase parts and stuff. But on the iPad, it's so good because you can use the liquify tool, kind of make the fingers a bit skinnier, kind of move them in the right direction. It's just why I love digital painting so much. Does it mean it's super easy and anyone can do it? No, it's still difficult. It still requires a lot of thinking and making decisions, but it's definitely more accessible because of that reason, because you can change things. Now, with this one, I wanted to add those flowers. They're just so beautiful. They look like they have been Tainted and Stained. So I thought that was going to be perfect for this song. And it's the kind of flower like I see everywhere now. Like, you know, when you start noticing something and then you see it everywhere. It's actually on the bed sheets on my bed at the moment. And now every time I go to bed, I look at them and I'm like, I love those flowers. They're really cool. Anyway, I really enjoyed drawing them. I think they turned out so good and they really added to the atmosphere. Kind of the little droplets that I think that's so beautiful. I'm just so in love with that. They're actually so easy to make. Like everything that is like a tiny little highlight at the end, like I did with that little thing on the cherry, all those little details, you just add one extra layer, you change the blending mode to add and you just whoop, add your little highlight. But that's the thing, like you need to kind of prepare the environment before you add that highlight. You need to have shadows, you need to have the right colors, you need to kind of like, yeah, prepare the space before you add the highlight. Something I really have been working on a lot lately, like this technique, and I will explain that to you in my live lettering workshop. Like I want everyone to come out of it and be like, now I get it. Like I understand everything that Aurélie is doing when she creates lettering artwork. The next one was electric blue, and let me tell you, this one was painful. I had this vision of doing something like very, very, very Aztec, like very geometric. And the letters kind of wonky because I did not want to have that like perfectly geometric look. Like I wanted to be a bit rough and kind of like old, and it went through things and it's a little bit distorted. But when I did that, it was such a brilliant idea, but it turned out so like wrong. Like not terribly wrong, but for me, I did not like it. I could not look at it and think, oh, this is beautiful, you know? So I was like, what can I do to kind of change that? And I went with more curly letters, like that little swirl that I always do, and just added those little like spike that were very Aztec to me, and it worked. Like it was so much better because I could look at it and be like, I love it. Like I love this piece of lettering. It's actually really cool. And having kind of like the R going down and this angle of the lettering, I think that was kind of like giving it more of a quirky vibe, and that felt so much better for Aztec. And then the other thing I struggled with this prompt is the fact that it was a very cool blue, and blue is not my color, even though I'm wearing blue right now. I don't know, for some reason I have a problem with blue, but I'm trying to love blue. I'm trying to make it one of my color. That's why I'm forcing myself to wear blue. But this prompt, it just felt so cold, so not me, so not like my usual colors. And at the end, you can see I'm just kind of like playing with the curves on the prompt. So all I'm doing is kind of adding a little bit more red and removing a little bit of the green. So kind of like switching the colors so they go towards more of my spectrum, my pink safe zone, like my comfort zone, and having a bit more of the pink, having something that's a little bit more warm. Just instantly I fell in love with it. I was like, yeah, so much better. It's funny how like just adding little swirls and a bit more pink, instantly I was like, I love it. So that goes to show that sometimes when you go through something that doesn't work, it's not a bad thing. Like it helps you really figure out what you don't like about something and why you don't like it. And then you can go and do something else. And then that's all the things that become your style, because now I know that anything that's very organic and curly and rounded with pink is my style. Like it's the thing that I love to do, and I'm gonna do more of it. Okay, I have 3 more prompts to show you: Lady Marmalade, Painted Black, and Strawberry Fields. Okay, with the prompt Lady Marmalade, I spent way too long on it. And the reason why I spent so long on it was because I did not have a plan. on my sketches, I had this idea of doing something a little bit circusy and have, I don't know, like almost like a retro sign type of style for the word at the top. And then I wanted to add some vines. I wanted to have a heart. I wanted to have so many things, so many elements that it ended up just not working. And then I did not have a plan for the color palette. I wasn't sure of what I was going to do, and that's why I spent so long on it. But in the end, I made it happen, kind of went back to a simple color palette. So the color of the oranges, which goes really well with the green and the brown, added the little pearls at the end, and it just turned out great. I really love how it turned out. I think it's really one of my favorites. And I just love that the lettering is not the main focus, like the oranges are the main focus. With this challenge, I'm also putting everything into frames, and I think putting it into the frame just looks so cool. It would look so cool as a painting. So if you can see the lights, it's actually this thing right there. We have like a little Halloween thing going on. So that's what's happening. But yeah, this prompt was probably the one that took me the longest at this stage. Like it took me way longer than Purple Rain, which was my first prompt. Usually my first prompt always takes the longest, but this one took me the longest for that reason, just because I did not have a plan. Now the prompt Painted Black took me a little bit less time, just because I had spent so long on the previous one that I was like, okay, I need to have a plan now. I need to know exactly what I'm going to do and stick to the plan. Don't make any changes, just go for it. I decided to go with a black letter typeface, which I really like. It's like a semi-black letter, so the P is a black letter, but then the A, I, N, they're not really black letter. So it's like a mix, and I think it really works. I wanted to have a moth. I think that's one of the main thing I wanted for this one, and also the very glossy fruits. And again, you can see I'm playing with different type of colors. So I have like a bluish highlight and then a reddish purple rim light, which is something I'm working on. You guys know that's what I want to teach you all in my workshop. So techniques that I'm developing with every piece I'm making. I'm trying to really make that process super easy and foolproof. Like every time you're gonna use that process, it's gonna work no matter what. So this is what I'm trying to distill so I can teach you guys how to do that in my live lettering workshop. Okay, next prompt is Strawberry Fields. And guys, I did not know, but strawberry is actually prompt 7 of Peachtober. My October 7th prompt was floral, and Peachtober was strawberry. And how crazy is that? I did strawberries for prompt 7, so Strawberry Field, which is really cool. Maybe could we do that, Celine? Use the hashtag Peachtober. I think we should. Maybe you'll get a feature. So you guys know I'm trying to like share a bit of a tip every time I share a prompt. Like with every prompt I'm doing, I'm trying to share something that I have done in the prompt, a little insight of my process, kind of like what I'm doing and how I'm thinking. So hopefully you can use that in your lettering. And with this one, I'm actually trying to really make the lettering the main focus. So you can see that when you zoom in, the lettering is a lot more sharp. The edges are a lot more detailed. Whereas with the strawberries, which are the surrounding elements, they're not the main focus. They're a little bit more smooth and blurry. And that's on purpose, like that's intentional. I've also added a little Easter egg, and this one probably is my favorite Easter egg. I've always wanted to draw snails and they're so cute. That's everything for this first 7 prompts of this challenge. I'm gonna make another video where I share the next 7 prompts. Guys, if you want to be featured on the Lettering Style Challenge page, if you want Celine to share your work, make sure you tag the page. Can you go on the page, Celine, just so we can see the name of the page, like the main page? Yeah, it's just Lettering Style Challenge on Instagram. If you tag this page, we can see everyone, because that's the thing. Like if you just use the hashtag, unfortunately, we don't see all of the submissions. Whereas if you tag the page,
They're all here.
They all appear.
Not in order, but they're all here.
Yep. Oh, that's beautiful. How amazing. Yeah, some amazing submissions. And we're going to try and like share. I think we're sharing about 5 per prompt per day. So make sure you post them as soon as possible. Like we post them a little bit late so that you have time, but we also want to post them on time. So if you post them a little bit later, we might not see them. That is so amazing. So cool. I love it. Stunning. So that's it for today's video. I'm planning to do 3 more videos like this throughout the challenge. So if you have any questions, any ideas, any suggestions, like for what you'd like to see, just drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear. And remember, it is never too late to join the Lettering Style Challenge. So if you do join, make sure to tag the Lettering Style Challenge page so I can see your post. And if you complete the 31 prompts, don't forget that you'll be in the draw to win some pretty amazing prizes this year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.